Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, September 10th. So the moon is going to be in Libra and will be going void, of course, around 1:49 a.m., locking into Scorpio energy, 3:06 a.m., again, Atlantic Standard Time. So here's the thing. We're coming out of this light and fluffy, sociable, airy energy of Libra, and we are diving deep into the darkness, into the shadow parts of ourselves in Scorpio waters. Now, this typically does not feel good for most people. If you have strong Scorpio dominant placements in your chart, this isn't going to affect you as much because you're used to kind of erring on the side of the darkness. However, this is a huge emotional shift. We become a little bit more to ourselves because we're acting as the observer. Scorpio energy is the detective of the zodiac. It is also the alchemist of the zodiac, meaning we really want to pick things apart. We want to understand the inner workings of our mind, of our heart space. We want to really kind of understand other people. We want to kind of get in their brains and pick them apart. This is really going to illuminate for us some darker emotions, some darker thoughts, and give us the ability to turn that darkness into light, to turn that pain into power. So this is a very interesting and intense and extreme type of emotional shift. There are 11 different aspects taking place throughout the day, and 9 of them are involving the moon. So we're shifting into setting some intentions, especially since the new moon in Virgo. The moon is definitely illuminating the sky at this point. She is alive and well. She is growing. She is putting out there what it is that she wants to see happen. And we are following suit. We are definitely more focused on what needs to be done, what hasn't been working, where it is we need to kind of realign our focus and energy. And you best believe that the moon in Scorpio is going to help us redefine all of the things that need to go and what it is that needs to stay and be reworked. So the moon right out of the gate is actually going to bump into the true node, and this is going to help us rework our plans. The true node, of course, wants to get us on the right track, moving into the future, moving onto the right path where our heart is aligned, our head is aligned, and really just remind us what it is that we are fighting for, what it is that we are pushing through all these obstacles and challenges for. Because we've had quite a few rough days lately, especially since that new moon in Virgo, we are going to have to kind of step away to rethink a couple of things. We're not abandoning our plans, but there's new information and details that have come to the surface that are maybe just kind of pushing us in a slightly different direction that we hadn't considered up until now. The moon actually conjuncts Venus, who is still very much in the Libran energy here today. We'll be moving into Scorpio later today as well. And this is going to remind us where it is that, yes, things are getting a little bit wonky again. Yes, we have some new information to reconsider, but we have to remain balanced. We have to keep focused on what it is that we need emotionally, especially in our relationships. We have identified where it is that maybe we didn't have strong enough boundaries, where it is maybe we needed to be a little bit more vocal with our wants, needs, and desires, and where it is that we can't abandon that particular realization moving forward. The moon is going to make an aspect with the sun, who is in Virgo, and this is going to apply a little bit of a tension point because, of course, the moon is our emotions and our subconscious self. It is very connected to the past and old attachments. And the sun is illuminating where it is that we need to go from here, the new aspects of what it is that we're trying to do. And because the sun is really pushing hard to wrap up the life lessons in Virgo energy, you best believe we have to act. We have to take action on implementing the new habits, the new routines, the new ways of thinking that we're going to have to adopt in order to move forward, to leave the past behind, to abandon the parts of the old self, and of course, sever those old attachments. So this is like a push and pull between what it is that we were comfortable with and what it is that we know we have to kind of accept a little bit more easily in order to align on the path forward. The moon at this time bumps into the true node. And again, the true node is trying to remind us where it is that we're pushing forward, where it is that we have to take action, where it is that we want to end up. But of course, we just got illuminated to the parts of us that are still holding on for dear life, the old thought process that we're still very attached to, the old routines and habits that we're still going through the motions with, and where it is that we need to make some physical changes in our physical realms. Again, we have to be illuminating to the parts of us that are preventing us from truly moving forward, from truly growing. We are blocking ourselves. We know this. We've analyzed this. We've had some serious realizations since the new moon in Virgo. Now we're being asked to do something about it. Mercury at this particular point in time is going to be bumping into Uranus. So Mercury is in Libra, again, really trying to balance out our thoughts, trying to get us to see both sides of the coin, weigh the pros and cons, and that Uranian energy is retrograde in Taurus. So as we've kind of been exploring, Mercury rules over the lower intellect. Uranus rules over the higher intellect. Uranus is where we receive new information, new light codes, new downloads, new ideas, new inspirations from our higher selves, from the cosmic universe. And then we bring it down to logically and practically integrate it and apply it into our ego, the lower level intellect that Mercury rules over. So this is going to be an aha moment. This is a moment that we are going to have a realization that will change the course not only of our thinking, but of our actions as well. This is going to put a different applied pressure on us to be able to communicate very clearly what it is that we want, need, and desire, especially where our needs are not getting met, where it is that we need a little bit more of an effort in our relationships to feel like we're being met halfway. And again, Mercury in Libra just wants to balance the scales, wants to mediate, wants to cooperate, wants to compromise in order for everyone to be happy. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Neptune. And this is really going to put a lot of pressure on us to step away from our physical realms to get in alignment with our higher selves. This is a beautiful time for some intuitive insight to actually be downloaded in our mental plane. This might put a huge emphasis on some of the not so nice feelings that are coming up for us and really put us in a position where we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, where we might want to escape our current emotions and our current thinking. But that is because we recognize we're acting out of ego. We're too grounded. We're too in the moment. We have our blinders on. We're not allowing enough space, time, and energy from the cosmos, from our imagination, from our dreams to actually mix in with the practical and logical situations that we're looking to resolve. We're going to get a little bit of a reality check though, because the moon is actually going to square Saturn, the Lord of Karma. At this particular point in time, we're going to recognize where it is that we have to step up, where it is that we do have to get a grip, especially on our emotions, where we do have to get a grip on our mental plane, and where we do actually have to prove to the universe that we learned something. And that something is that we have to take action. At this particular point in time, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and worth and money and long-term planning, she's shifting out of Libra and she's moving into Scorpio. So we have the moon in Scorpio. We have Venus now in Scorpio. Venus rules over Fridays. You best believe that this is going to be a shift that will be felt. This is going to be very intense, very extreme. likely put a darker light on our relationships, make us super irritable, less tolerant for some of the stuff that we normally would just sweep under the rug. And again, all of that is due to Venus moving into Scorpio. I do recommend that you go check out this particular cosmic event in September's energy forecast. I go into a little bit more depth on what we can expect with Venus moving into Scorpio, especially the huge emotional transformation that would be taking place in our personal relationships. So this is definitely going to be felt. And we have the moon making an aspect with Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer. He wants to illuminate for us where our wounds are still wide open. He's likely going to rub some salt in those wounds. He's going to apply a huge amount of tension and pressure to where it is that we are not feeling safe, secure, satisfied, especially in our relationships. Why? Because we have to recognize what it is that we're not comfortable with in order for us to actually make a change. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Pluto. Pluto, mind you, rules over Scorpio. So as you can tell, there's a lot of Scorpio energy here today. And for many of us, it doesn't feel good. We're not comfortable in this intense, extreme type of energy. And we are going to be illuminated to that uncomfortability as the day progresses. The moon bumping into Pluto is going to provide us an opportunity to transform, to heal, especially the mind, body, and soul equation. Pluto, of course, is retrograde in Capricorn, trying to illuminate our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, our uncertainties, in order for us to recognize where it is that we have to boss up and actually take control of trying to heal these particular issues. This is also going to illuminate the power struggles, especially in our relationships. So right now we're kind of going through an inner power struggle. There's a conflict going on between the old and new, our heart, our head. We're kind of being torn, as we've been discussing. The timelines are splitting, contracts are being renewed. We definitely feel like we have one foot in one world and the other in another world altogether. This doesn't feel good, but it is giving us an opportunity, a tension point to boss up, to take our power back, to take control over what it is that we have control over, especially our thoughts, especially our emotions. We're going to end off the day with the moon making an aspect with Mars. Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio energy, so you best believe that this shift is going to be felt as well. Mars is still in Virgo, preparing to move into Libra early next week. This means that we are at the end of the life lessons and the chapters that Mars and Virgo wanted us to learn. What started off at the beginning of Mars's adventure in Virgo as nervousness and worry and overwhelming thoughts and processing, all kinds of ideas and options at an accelerated rate. Now we are moving into a place of action. Mars, of course, wants to take action. He would prefer to take action first and think about the consequences later. But Virgo energy has frustrated him to the point where we weren't allowed to take action unless it made sense, unless it was calculated and strategic. And now, because we are this far in the process of sorting out the details and really aligning with the new path that is unfolding, we're given permission to actually take action. So the moon making this aspect with Mars is a little bit of a fluster. We're getting frustrated, I like to call it. We're flustered and we're frustrated. Things aren't moving fast enough. The pieces aren't coming together fast enough. We know because of our alignment with our higher selves, with our heart space, that the light, the solution is just around the corner. But because we know that and we can't physically see the pieces of that manifest in our physical realms as of yet, we are hella frustrated. So the moon with Mars making this aspect is going to make us act out on our feels. And because the earlier aspects are really kind of illuminating for us our wounds, our fears, our insecurities, our uncertainties, we actually might take action in haste. We might be too impulsive. We might be a little bit reckless. The passion and the desire that is building up in us because of the Scorpio energy, because of the Pluto energy, and now the Mars energy does tend to redline. Now we have the opportunity to act out in a positive way and take action and make things happen, to get things organized, to put things in their spot, to actually take a step forward in our path. That is a good way to use this energy. But many of us are going to act out on our feels and create a little bit of tension and drama where there doesn't need to be any. Again, like I talked about, check out Venus moving into Scorpio, because I did talk about how this particular energy is so intense, so passionate, that we tend to want to create chaos, especially in our relationships, just to test how much we actually matter to people. We want to feel alive. We want to feel fought for. We want to feel desired. And sometimes we have to create a situation where maybe jealousy is concerned, maybe possessiveness is concerned, where we're kind of poking the bear to see whether or not somebody is going to take action in pursuing us, in chasing us, in making us feel valued. This can be a dangerous situation with Mars being in Virgo, wanting to act out, wanting to take action, make things happen, especially with all of this restlessness, all of this anxiety, all of this just unfiltered energy. So I'm going to throw a caution out that we do have a choice. We have a choice to use this energy for good, or we have the option to use it for not so good. And depending on your emotional control and your emotional intelligence, that will dictate how it is that you're going to use this energy from this particular aspect.